We just turned it on. All right, everybody. Hopefully, we are back, and this is working. So tonight has been what the kids would call a cluster, as we've been waiting desperately for things to sort themselves out. We got a very late start, and on top of that, by the time we actually started the tournament, it appears that we've lost like network connectivity. I'm not entirely sure that it is back up and running to its fullest. But we have rebooted everything. We have started again from scratch. So let's give it a go.
That's not what it's playing.
Huh?
It's playing Omniscience.
Okay. So for those of you who stuck around, we had a metric crap ton of people watching earlier, and then thanks to the delay and to apparently my computer crashing, we've lost most of you, so I apologize for that. But anyway, let's recap here. My name is Zachary Evans. I'm joined tonight by Brandon Hart, and we are here at Friday Night Magic, Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. We are in round one of tonight's 5-round tournament. Like I said, we did have a little bit of problems logistically that I won't get into. If you were watching earlier, I mentioned them 1,000 times, but to the matter at hand, we are watching on the right Dakota Lilly, who is from the Beckley store. He came up with the guys who are running the tournament for us tonight. He is playing what appears to be a Jund deck. If he's not playing Jund, then it's the first and only non-Jund deck in the world to play exclusively Jund cards. On the left, stream regular Scotty Wright. You'll remember last week he split the finals of our FNM event. He did that with blue-white-red control, or blue-white-red midrange. This week, he's come to battle with a fun deck. This is Omniscience ramp control, right? Was that what you would call it?
Yeah. Actually, there's really not much control outside of Omniscience, and basically it just ramps hard and wins.
Yeah, he is trying to ramp and cast Omniscience and win from there. So that's the matchup. Thanks for watching. As I send out the tweet to indicate to everyone that we are back and live and amongst the living. So now that we've gone through all of that meaningless blabber, let's talk about the game. Scotty has done a whole lot of nothing, as his deck commonly does. He has ramped hard and done nothing else. So he's Farseek, followed by a Ranger's Path. So here on what looks like turn 5, he has... Who went first, do you know?
Dakota.
Okay, so on Scotty's turn 5 or 6 anyway, he's got 1 billion lands. So Thragtusk it should be. Puts him back up to 17. Helps to stem the tide. The Jund deck is not really the kind of deck that comes out of the gates very fast, but it does have a lot of bombs. So, not necessarily a race like would be in the classic aggro versus control style. Should be interesting to see here how this works out. Someone's asking in the chat if those are Commander Arsenal sleeves. I'm not sure.
I think so.
I think that they are. The boys from Beckley roll pretty deep, as the kids would say, so it would not surprise me if they did have those sleeves. So I think that is the case. I can confirm that later if you stick around. That gives you incentive to check it out. So Dreadboard takes out the
token.
The front hat. Oh, take out the token?
Take out the token. He has already made my favorite tweak to Jund, which is replacing Pillar of Flame with Searing Spear.
Well, how do you... I guess it just matters, like, how...
It's really the metagame you're playing against?
Yeah, if you're playing against non-stop zombies or, like Dirty Red or whatever. Is that what Travis Wu's deck is called, Dirty Red?
Yeah.
If you're playing in that metagame where it's all Rakdos and all zombies all the time, then, yeah, you cannot come to battle without Pillar of Flame. But around here, I don't even know if there's a copy of... I think there might be only 4 Gravecrawlers in that room out there.
Yeah, I don't even know if there is 4 Gravecrawlers.
Oh, I know for a fact I saw 4.
There are at least 4.
There's one zombie deck.
But even that, like, there's always going to be more Thragtusk and Olivia's.
Yeah, three. There are a lot of 3 toughness creatures. You're exactly right. Plus, it's just better to the dome as well. I mean, It's just, I don't know. The last couple of weeks, for those of you who've watched this before, there's been a fair number of snapcastering. I mean, is it control decks? Is it mid-range decks? And you get a lot more work out of snapping back a Searing Spear than you would snapping back a Pillar of Flame. All of these are obvious things that I'm explaining to people who probably already know, but still, I have done it.
But still, Pillars are found in twice as many decks as...
That was hilarious. I don't know if you saw that. I know we were talking, but so what happened there was that Scotty ramped. He cast the Gilded Lotus. He had an increasing ambition in his hand, which is the tutor from is that from Dark Ascension?
Yes.
And he he thought about what he was going to go get and realized he couldn't do anything. He was just dead. So the Huntmaster had made flipped twice, had made a couple of wolf tokens, and then with Olivia. Olivia is I love Olivia. I'm a big fan.
She's crazy
It's
good.
great against aggro. It's great against control. It's great against the field. That's why she's legendary. But
Yeah,
anyway, so again, thanks to everyone who's checking us out tonight. We are getting some of our numbers back. Let's do some business here. Talk about the tournament at hand. Scotty is winning with Mill. He's casting. No, wait.
He wins.
Is he playing? Okay, earlier he was playing Epic Experiment deck. There's no Epic Experiments in this deck. I think there are.
I don't think so.
Oh.
Because he borrowed half my cards to play this deck.
Okay, so here's what's going on. Scotty Wright was trying to build two different decks to try to play a fun one. Scotty's our perpetual top 4 participant. I think so he was building an Epic Experiment deck and this Omniscience deck. They're not the same? Okay, so I honestly don't know. But I think he tutors for, I think the chain is he casts Omniscience, he tutors for all the other tutors, he tutors for Psychic Spiral.
He tutors for a tutor.
Uh-huh.
And no, he tutors, his first tutor is usually for either Angel Serenity, Gilded Lotus, so we can flash back his tutor. When he flashes back his tutor, he gets another tutor and Temporal Mastery. So then he can cast his tutor again.
Oh yeah, he changed Temporal Masters to, and then what's that, Psychic Spiral, is that what it's called?
He has, I think he plays one.
Yeah, that's one win condition.
He also has Nicole Bolas.
Yes,
so
that's good. One of your personal favorites.
It is my
Brandon
personal
Hart,
favorite.
the Dragon Master. But yeah, so that sounds like what his plan is. So he is casting Omniscience, and he is chaining tutors into either a Psychic Spiral to mill his opponent out, or Nicole Bolas, or Angel Serenity, or other fatty.
He has 3 Angels, 3 Thragtusk, if I'm not mistaken.
We're getting a question. Is the audio down? Can someone confirm whether or not the audio is still working in the chat, please? I do not, from my end, it does not look like the audio went down. So if it did, so if anybody is hearing this audio,
Ironically.
okay. See, it's funny because it was no one responded for a while, and then literally 3 or 4 people all respond at the same time. So audio seems to be good. So we are back here. I do not have either of these gentlemen's deck lists. Obviously, at Friday Night Magic, we do not have we are not competitive enough of an event to have required deck registration. So we're just kind of flying.
I think there's a Grizzlebane in the deck.
I don't know if this is. I can tell you right now, this is not. He didn't copy this list from the internet necessarily. The shell is from the internet, I imagine. But I think he just streamlined it a little bit based on his.
Do you not think he had a Grizzlebrand to put in there? So he might have one.
I'm
not going to take it away. I think
card availability often becomes a factor at the FNM level.
Like when I say he has half my cards, I'm pretty sure he has 9 to 10 of my cards in his deck. Being lands and Thragtusk.
At the Wednesday Night Legacy event that we had, I had 5 decks in the field.
So yeah.
None of my decks top forward. That's 2 of the decks that I built for people.
There were 2
top
mono
forward.
reds, weren't they?
Oh well, and a dredge deck. Joe Lewis's dredge deck. Yeah, we did mention we've mentioned it before. We've mentioned it in previous weeks, but we are slowly but surely developing a Wednesday night legacy event. Our first one 2 weeks ago had 8 people. Wednesday night's event had 18 people. So if that takes off, we might start streaming that as well. Very interesting card out of the Jund deck. Does he side into that?
I think so.
Wow.
Against control matchups?
I think it's great. I'm just very surprised to see it.
Yeah, I am too.
You learn something new every day.
I mean, I like it, and I play Jund, so this is interesting for me.
Yeah, okay, so this is like the best possible thing that can happen, right? Turn 2 Farseek.
Turn 3 Mangler, and turn 4 Huntmaster?
Yeah, Mangler's much better on turn 3 than the ramped turn 3 Huntmaster would be in this matchup, so...
He also missed a land drop, which is unfortunate for the Jund player.
Yeah, because he
kind of wants to get to 5.
Well, he's got an Olivia there.
Yeah, that's with Olivia, you especially want to be at 5.
I would like to be at 1 million if possible.
Yeah.
But
5 is
often difficult to do.
Olivia is a 6-drop in my opinion, because you want to obviously play, ping, and then steal.
You would like to do that.
I mean, realistically, you want to be at 11, but that's besides the point.
And there's the aforementioned Searing Spear. So Dakota is all answers all the time and pounds in for 7. What's going to happen is this game's going to be over in about 10 minutes, and I'm going to have to go out there and look for another game. Always happens. Scotty insisted.
Especially because we're doing 55-minute rounds.
Yeah, well, I'm going to talk to him and see if we can get that sorted out. I wanted to mention that earlier. Because of the late start and because of the different crew running the event, there has been talk of doing a 5-round event with no cut to top 8, just awarding prizes based on record. So we might only have 5 rounds tonight, and it might be a late one. But rest assured, if this match ends early, we will try to find somebody to slot in their place.
We're currently looking at a 1 o'clock finish, guys. 1 o'clock.
I
know this for a fact because there's at least 2 Turbofogs decks out there playing around.
I'm an old ass man, and I can't stay up that late. So what's good here? Supreme Verdict?
Supreme Verdict is good. I don't know if he has
I see an O-ring. What do you even O-ring here?
Huntmaster?
Yes.
You don't want Huntmaster to flip. He's more dangerous than Dredge Mangler.
Yep.
Dredge Mangler has Scavenge, so he just kind of, O-ring you would exile.
Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah.
Oh, Huntmaster is the answer. I think that's the play. Not that I mean, for love of God, I don't know what's correct and what's not correct, but it seems like a reasonable play.
But he's still going to take 5.
Well, he's going to take 3, and he's going to take 3 from the Searing Spear that Dakota just drew. So his effective life...
No.
Olivia is the
I don't know if that was the best play.
Oh, I forgot the token. So you're right. 5
there too? Yeah.
Scotty dead on board. Is there anything in his deck? I see an O-ring. O-ring won't do it.
He needs a Verdict. I don't know if he runs Verdict. He should run Verdict.
He has an Angel, which does nothing.
Serenity? Serenity
does. No, the other Angel. Restoration Angel. Okay. Why are the Restoration Angels in the deck? Just because every deck in Standard starts with 4 Thragtusk, 4 Restoration Angels?
He had a sideboard of them because they were in a sideboard.
Oh my. And that one's over relatively quickly. I didn't even start the timer. For goodness sakes, this is what happens. We start an hour late. My computer crashes. It's a hot mess. So, not some of our finer work tonight.
What I don't understand is why don't just do normal 40-minute rounds?
Well, I am not the tournament organizer, so we can confer with the people out there. So here's what happens. While these gentlemen are sideboarding, let's talk a little bit of business, and then we will come back with, I will go out there and try to find somebody to move over into the feature area. But I mentioned it before while we were in the waiting portion of the event tonight. But we do, as always, want to thank Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. They let us come to their store, hijack their event, and put it on the internet. So we appreciate that. If you are in the area, definitely come down or check out one of their 4 locations: South Charleston, Beckley, Princeton, and Parkersburg. All of these in West Virginia, obviously. So if you are regional or local, come on out and support the cause. We stream every week, so if this is your first time, we appreciate you coming down. I appreciate you, I don't know, what's the word? Watching, showing up, logging in, I believe as the kids would say. We appreciate your patronage. Every week, 6:30. You can't be a guest, but we would appreciate you logging in, because then you can subscribe to us. You click that follow button on the top left, right above the video on your screen. 6:30 Eastern every week. We stream Friday Night Magic. Twitch.tv/ZachSellsMagic is the place to go if you're watching after the fact on YouTube. So more importantly, stick around. I'm going to take about 1 minute, go out there. Whoops, turn the mic off. Going to go out there and try to find you another game. So do not go anywhere. We will be right back. Okay, everyone, we are back, and I have tried the best that I can to, as I lean back to close the door, I've tried the best that I can to find another match. And unfortunately, some weeks we go out there, and there's the very next table over is two Tier 1 decks, and they are shuffling up for their next game, and it works perfectly. This is the opposite of that. I went out there, and almost like half the field is done. There's a lot of aggro decks in the field. The other half are deeply embroiled in, I think there's at least 2 copies of Turbo Fog in this field, so it just wasn't going to happen. So what we've got here is just some filler round for you. Sorry, Brandon stepped out, so I'm running the show here by myself. But so what we got, just to fill some time, we're just going to run some games here. 2 of our regulars, Brandon, who was commentating with me for round 1, he is over here on the left playing, I believe, mono red. Oh, what is he playing? What is he playing? Hey, Scotty. All right, is he playing your deck? Hey, Scotty. Is Brandon playing your deck? No. And what are you playing? Mono red. Okay. So Michael Taylor is on your right. He is playing Scotty's deck that we just saw. Brandon Hart, my co-commentator from the previous round, is on the left, and he is playing a mono red aggro deck, which is exactly what you think it is. So that's what's going to happen here. Until this round is over, we're going to watch these guys go. It's probably the worst possible matchup that this Omniscience deck can have. As you see, more importantly, the rock, paper, scissors game to determine who goes first. If you like those cards, then you should stay tuned. We give away a play set every week. So more information about that later on in the night, how you can win those. But back to the game at hand here. Mono red on the left versus, if I can ever get my head straight, Michael Taylor playing Omniscience. You weren't waiting for me, were you? Okay. It's the hottest of messes this week, so I apologize if you are just watching us for the first time. Probably not the best first impression to make. We got a late start. We have a new tournament organizer. They didn't get things going till very late. My computer crashed in the interim, and our first round went 10 minutes. All of these things. Oh, and I'm commentating by myself. So all of these things culminating in the hot mess that you're watching. But it's better than nothing. It's Friday. It's magic. If you can't make your FNM, then feel free to join ours. So thanks to everyone who's watching. Should be a good time. We do have some very interesting decks in the field, some good players, so we should be able to have some quality action here. Back to the game. Like I said, I am in here by myself, so you're just going to have to listen to my voice for a while. No one drop, but a turn 2 Rakdos Shred Freak from the aggro deck, followed by an Ash Zealot. And all Michael has done is played lands and now resolves a Ranger's Path, and he has to play an untapped Overgrown Tomb to do so. So he is up against it here. He's going to need a Thragtusk next turn to stem the tide and get out of burn range. He is trying desperately to ramp into Omniscience, at which point a single tutor will win him the game. This feels like Hellrider. 1, 2, 3 from triggers, and then 7 from damage. Puts Michael to 2. The good thing about these games are, it doesn't matter how fast they go. We'll just shuffle up and play another one. Unlimited matches here on the free play of round 1 bonus coverage. Okay, so we do see Thragtusk comes up to 7. He's not dead on, well, he is dead on board because 3 from the triggers, and he can only block 3, so he's taking 7 exactly. I don't know what happened there. And we see the problem with, so Scotty just put that Omniscience deck together today. He won our tournament last week with blue, white, red, mid-range. This week he said he just wanted to play something fun, and unfortunately the something fun he's playing cannot handle the aggressive start from the mono red deck. So again, this is a bonus coverage. Round 1 has already completed, or at least our round 1 match has completed. It looks like Scotty is sitting in here to get some more work out of his Omniscience deck. But someone is asking in the chat about what the app is that they're using that is an iPod Touch. I appreciate you noticing it. It wasn't an iPhone because I have I'm slumming it with the iPod Touch as we are. You sitting in or just grabbing a bag?
Grabbing a bag.
Okay.
He's switching out mono red for a dragon deck.
Okay. Brandon Hart special mono dragons. So everyone has that guy at their store. Brandon Hart is our official dragon collector. He has all of them, and he has built a standard deck that he admits is not good, but it has all the dragons in it. So that's what we're going to see. Why not? We're having fun. It's round one. We'll get to the Jun versus Miracles Control matchup later on, I'm sure. But for now, we're going to watch Omniscience Ramp versus Mono Dragons. I believe it's Grixis. But anyway, let's get back to the question in the chat. What is the Life Total app that's being used on the iPod Touch? That is an app called Life Total, a very original name. But here's the problem. We've had this question many times before, and I've done some research. It's called Life Total. It is no longer available in the App Store because I think I downloaded it 3 years ago. So not sure that it's still available. I know for a fact it's not available on the European iTunes store because the first person who asked was from Germany, so it's not available over there. We did a cursory look on iTunes, and I couldn't find it myself. So I don't know if that specific one is available, but I'm sure there's one very similar to it. So if you just look for it at the iTunes store, I'm sure you can find something, or something comparable on Android as well. That is our high-tech, low-tech way of relaying life totals back here to the booth. So, someone's asking about the contents of the Mono Dragons deck, which I think I've just invented that indirectly, that archetype. This is just a casual deck that Brandon's put together. I don't know exactly what he's playing in real standard these days. I think he's playing green-white mid-range, but this is just all of the dragons. I think surely there are Thundermaw Hellkites in it. That was the main question. That is clearly the best dragon, and there's Nicole Bolas in it too. As we see, a turn 1 Slumbering Dragon, the only 1-drop dragon in standard, maybe one of the only 1-drop dragons ever to be printed. So again, this is just the for funsies deck. This is not intended to be super top tier competitive. Yes.
Game 3 that's about to happen. If you want to see if you want to move over.
Who is playing game 3?
It is Megan versus.
Brian has said in the past he did not want to play on camera.
Okay.
That's why I didn't ask him.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you though. So. Thanks, bud. So we did have game 3. Someone's going to game 3 in the table right next to this, but one of the individuals that is playing has requested in previous weeks not to play under camera, so we have. I just don't bother to ask him. Well, we might have a...
He has reneged that.
All right.
I'm going to move over for you.
Excellent. Well, feel free to come in here when you're done. Excellent. So Joe Lewis doing some work out there. So we do have a game 3. For those of you who watched us last week, the most feedback that we got last week was from the deck that we're going to see featured on the left, which is... Megan Berger played last week. She made the top 8, went 4-0, won undefeated in the Swiss, lost in the quarterfinals. She is playing Golgari Good Stuff deck. It's a mid-range deck with all the cards that you would expect. You might have to grab another chair there, Joe, or you can just stand. I'm now joined by Joe Lewis, and Brandon is back in here as well. So Brian Grose is playing. Do you know what Brian is playing, Joe?
Brian is playing Junk Midrange.
Junk Midrange.
I think he's got a Reanimator theme with it.
It's a very small Reanimator theme.
So he's playing like one copy of. A lot of those decks play like Jordan Pecchio, who's played on before. He plays Esper Control. He plays just a singleton copy.
He plays 2 Wrights, but I know he plays 2 Angels, or maybe 1. But I traded him my 4th Thrykos, so I know he has 4 Thrykos in there.
He's pretty much just junk good stuff.
Yeah, so it should be good here. Yeah, Megan's deck list is available on our website on the Facebook page. So if you go to ZachSellsMagic.com, which I was mentioning earlier, now redirects to Facebook.
Does it?
Yeah, because that's we are nothing if not super high tech up in this house. So Megan's deck list is available. So if you want to go check that out, go to facebook.com/ZachSellsMagic or ZachSellsMagic.com. They both get there. Brian is playing Junk Midrange. As we say, this is game 3, correct, Joe?
Yes, it is game 3.
Game 3. 1 apiece. Now, Let's move to the chat while we're waiting. Someone has mentioned, what do you think is a better deck in Standard currently, or what's more dominant, Thragtusk decks or non-Thragtusk decks? Somebody has already beat me to the joke, but I was going to ask, are there any non-Thragtusk decks in Standard? Because it seems to me like it makes its way into every single list. That's because it is the best card in Standard, and it should not be a Magic card in my opinion. But I mentioned that last week, and I'll mention it again this week. I'm very guilty of saying that shouldn't be a Magic card. I think most cards should be Magic cards, particularly Thragtusk, and also a recent culprit, Bonfire of the Damned. Just Miracles in general probably should not be it. Not something.
Unhallowed Burial printed as an actual just a hard cast instead of this Miracle.
Yeah, Miracle is not. But that is just a personal whinge of mine. I know why it was designed. It's very thematic. I understand, but. Did not enjoy it myself, but like I said, just whinging. Looks like Brian is going down to 6 here.
I will say this on, he did mulligan there. I will say this, Thragtusk right now is what is keeping Rakdos type decks, zombies, and Golgari type-esque zombie decks in check. I feel without that card right now, they could just pretty much run rampant. So it is being overplayed, but it is being overplayed for a reason for the most part.
If you don't have those, you just fold to zombies and
yeah, it is true. Especially the red-black that has so much reach, it just gets over the top of it. I think we may see those decks maybe when the next set comes out, may be able to adjust to it. The metagame will shift again, no matter what.
Yeah, I think it's. You just got to play the cards that are available, and as much as I hate Thragtusk, from a personal... I just got... I feel very accomplished. My Twitter feed just got spammed by someone who's... he's going to send me 4,000 Twitter followers. All I have to do is click this link. So that's exciting. I'll be clicking that later. Only good things can happen from that. Someone in the...
Turn 1, Deathrite Shaman?
Yeah, Deathrite Shaman out of Megan's deck. She is on the draw here. No, it's just every Deathrite Shaman.
Apparently.
Yeah, I think the second and third one are much worse than the first, but you play the cards you got.
Legitimately ran my face in, of course, Dice Menace.
Megan's deck, if you are just joining us for the first time this week, I encourage you, go on YouTube, youtube.com/ZachSellsMagic. Watch round 3 of last week's coverage. Megan Berger was featured, played Max Turner in that round. Her deck is a whole lot of goodies. It's a lot of good stuff.
Is that a Borderland Ranger?
Yeah, she's resolving.
Just skipping.
Just shortcutting there.
Saving game state.
Casualing it up there. So at least Brian on his multi-5 on the play, which is unfortunate. He has drawn perfect mana though, so hopefully he can get something going here.
I do know they are playing opposing Vraskas.
Yeah, because if you'll remember from this week's highlight of the week, Joe, I don't know if you saw that, but this week's highlight was Megan, who cast not 1, not 2, but 3 consecutive Vraskas last week.
I did see that.
As Max kept O-ringing them. It's very exciting.
That's almost as exciting as the 3 Celestia Charms.
She won that game, actually, if you believe it or not. The three Vraska draw is a pretty good one.
Max's deck last week, I feel like that was like perfect situation for him though. Having targets to O-ring just to drop Ethereal Armor and swing a Stalker.
Brian's a little bit against it here. Dreadmangler comes down to get in.
This one,
not sure.
I think Brian's...
may have Thragtusk right now. He's hoping maybe...
Yeah, Brian's deck kind of let him down there with the mull. He surely has a lot more business.
4 or 5 land hand though.
Well, he mulled to 5. I mean, would you rather keep 4 lands on the play or then ship it back for a random 4? I would keep the 5 every time. So that's a Trostani.
Well, that could help.
I mean, it could.
Big enough toughness.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna block the Dreadmangler, but still gonna be able to get in for 5. He's dead in 2 turns, so if he has a Thragtusk in his hand, he can claw right back into it because Trostani gains life every time a creature comes into play. Correct?
Correct. Yeah.
I'll pull
Equal
that.
to its toughness.
It doesn't matter because it was just
dead.
murdered. And summarily, as goes Trostani, goes Brian's entire game. Unfortunate that he had to mull till 5. Yeah, so Trostani, whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to the toughness. Seems pretty good. Do you play any of those in your green-white mid-range deck, Joe?
No, I don't. I have one. I did finally get one. I thought I'd put it aside, but...
It seems like a good sideboard card. There are some decks that can't deal with it. If you can't remove it...
I just think it's really good against aggro.
Yeah, I mean, it blocks for days.
His butt's huge, and it's your next turn. If you drop a Thrak test, you gain 8 life. That's fun.
That is fun. So, congratulations to Megan Berger as she moves to 1-0.
Or 8 life, yeah. Because I can't do math.
We are, gentlemen, I'm going to
I
shift.
figured you'd eventually get there. So.
We are,
But when I played my jump midrange against Megan, I couldn't. I beat the first 3 corpse stacks, but when she dropped the 4th one, she piled on with the other 3 in her graveyard.
so, I'm really up against it here. We talked about this previous to the, I mentioned this a million times, so if you've been watching from the start, I apologize for repeating myself, but unfortunately I've got to do that, otherwise people just tuning in won't have any idea what's going on. So here's the situation. We got started late because we were a replacement tournament organizer. They got here late. They're running longer rounds than we usually do. I'm going to have to talk to them about that because that's not right. But we're just going to have a lot of extra dead time, it looks like.
What is the wizard's set FNM time?
55. 50.
Is the REL.
Yeah.
55 is the REL.
I don't know if there is a set time for this FNM thing.
There's on the wizard's site they have FNM rules and set time. I thought it was 45 minutes.
Yeah, JB does like 40 or 45. I can't remember what he does exactly, but the idea is just to. I mean, we rarely have people go to time, but 55 is a long time. There's 2 fog decks out there.
Victor's lost on his first round of the fog deck.
So he's already done, so don't worry about that.
So I don't have to face him, thankfully, in the next round.
Victor's plays, the only thing that I had a problem with him was fog. It was the same reason.
I will say this.
I'm going to switch the studio cam.
The same reason there was a
Welcome to Friday Night Magic at Lost Legion Games and Comics. This is Brandon Hart. He's not paying attention at all. Joe Lewis is the floating torso. Did you get a chair?
No, I did not get a chair.
You can get a chair if you want to. So I know that as soon as we switch to the studio cam, we usually lose like half the people. We could talk to.
We're just so ugly.
We could talk to. Well, I mean, people want to see magic. I understand that, but unfortunately, there's only so much magic that we can slot into the camera. We've already made some people move. You can only get so many different matches ending at the right, appropriate, or convenient time, so that we can get more matches under the feature area. So usually, one thing that we do to kill some time is to talk about the person's deck. But we talked to Megan last week about her deck, and I'm sure Brian's probably not in the mood to talk about his deck right now since it just shot him in the foot as far as his mulligans go. But Joe, you're playing. Let's talk about your deck.
Okay.
You went now for clarification. I didn't mention this previously. Joe Lewis. I'll put your name up here. It's going to be very difficult to do it. But Joe, you are playing. Like I said, I'm stumbling all over myself here. You chopped the finals last week.
Yes.
So this is not. It's all mismatched and everything. So I apologize for my shoddy production value.
Actually, looks perfect to me.
Actually, it's pretty on.
I was pointing out the my Twitter tag, which is now off to the. How about that? Boom! Like a boss. So Joe Lewis went. Did you go undefeated last week?
I did go undefeated last week.
Okay, so undefeated in the Swiss, won the quarters in the semis, then chopped the finals with the blue-white-red control deck. So let's talk about your deck. You are playing
green-white midrange.
Green-white midrange. You're starting off. I'm just going to read them, and then feel free to chime in at any point here. This deck list will be available on our Facebook page after the tournament. So check it out, facebook.com/ZachSellsMagic, or just ZachSellsMagic.com will send you there. So if you're interested in that deck list, you can check it out. So start off with 7 Mana Dorks, 4 Arbor Elves, and 3 Absence Pilgrim. I think those are self-explanatory. Let's move into the goodies. You are playing 4 Elvish Visionary.
Yes, one of my all-time favorite cards. That makes me really mid-range. It does replace sub. It is playing a virtual 56 with that card. Plus, it does pair up nicely with some of the other cards in that set.
What is your what's your reason here exactly for playing the Absence Pilgrim as opposed to, like, I guess another 2-drop would be, you could play Thalia in that spot, you could play Stringerroot Geist in that spot?
I could, but I am not as aggressive.
Okay.
I am truly a mid-range deck.
Is that based on the metagame here, or is that just personal preference?
Personal preference, and I do like it does kind of fit more naturally into this metagame. Mid-range is very strong right now, and I want to jump to 3 as quickly as possible, into 4, into 5.
That's a good point, because you're playing 7 Mana Dorks. Usually that's your turn 1. They usually survive, at least it seems like nowadays they're surviving more. So you're basically casting a 3 on 2. You're not really looking for 2 drops, so that seems fine. I like it, and plus you get the value off of your Restoration Angels as well. It should be. So that's your two. Is that the only twos that you have?
Yeah,
You do have
and 4 Abyssin Pilgrims.
Yeah, you do have
3 elves.
2 copies of Ulvenwald Tracker too, which
Yes.
I like to refer to as Fight Bear. Some people refer to it as Dawn King, but
that was originally 1 copy. And after playing this deck for the first time, I realized that card was simply an all-star, and that I've never wanted to have, never ever doubted drawing it, never ever was bad in any situation drawing that card. Because of Gut Shot not existing right now,
sure,
it makes that card the removal that I need to pound.
Right. Hey, I actually used to play, I don't anymore, but I used to play a copy of Ulvenwald Tracker in my Legacy Maverick deck. So, I mean, I don't know, green doesn't have a lot of removal effects. Are we, oh, we're getting some requests to see the Mono Dragons deck. We'll get into that later on or after the next round. So, but anyway, back to the Fight Bear. I like him a lot, and I think it gives your deck a lot of reach here. So let's keep going down here. Got 2 copies of Loxodon Smiter.
Yes.
I'd say that guy seems chronically underplayed. I understand there's a lot of good things, like in the humans deck. You could possibly play Silverblade Paladin. I think it might be a little bit better. But Loxodon Smiter is a uncounterable 4/4 for 3.
Absolutely.
Seems pretty good to me.
Absolutely.
I mean, we talk about this all the time. We talked about it a lot last week when my buddy Ian Nolte was here. We started playing together this game back when we were 13 or 14 years old, about 20 years ago almost, it seems. And like a 4/4 for 3 mana that was uncounterable would have been the best card in Magic. Would have cost $100.
Yes.
And now it's not even good enough to
Yes.
make it into 4 copies of Joe's green-white mid-range deck. But I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Good against control. It's pretty aggressive. It can come down on turn 2 with your mana dorks. So pretty good card there. Playing 4 copies of Angel of Restoration.
I mean, where do you not play 4 copies?
That's I believe you're talking about Restoration Angel.
Restoration Angel, yes.
It's an alternate art version of it. But you are playing only 3 Thragtusk, and the question I have is, do you only own 3 Thragtusks?
I do only own 3 Thragtusks.
Okay, that's all I needed to see. So that would be 4, I'm assuming,
Yeah,
should you acquire the 4th
yes.
one. Eventually you will, I'm sure.
But just a side note on that. I love, personally, a personal preference is I play a lot of 3-ups. Because I like to have, for the most part, I like having those cards, but I don't always want those cards immediately in my opening hand. Thragtusk, I've never really said I really need 4. It never feels like it needs.
Yeah, I'm going to, you made some very valid points, and I'm going to respond by saying you're wrong, you need 4 Thragtusk, because it is the best ever. You want to draw, but you're right, the second one is not nearly as good as the first one, especially in some matchups. Some of the matchups, it does clog in your hand, you know what I mean? I can understand what you're saying, but I mean, it's so good. It's so good. So 3 Thragtusk will be 4 if you get the 4th one. Let's talk about 3 copies of Rancor.
Those turn my Elvish Visionaries into beat sticks, gives me trample on everything else that I need. Basically,
That is basically, your 3 copies of Rancor are the green-white's version of a Lightning Bolt.
Yep.
Gives them trample, lets you punch through the damage. Any choice specifically why 3? Not
again,
you don't want all of them, I imagine.
I wanted more, like 2. I originally had 2. I thought 4 was too many because I'm not as aggressive. But I wanted more than 2, what 2 gave me.
Sure.
So, again, I'm a big fan of 3 because I always kind of want it, but I don't always necessarily always want it all the time.
3 is what you play if you want to draw it, but you never want to draw 2 of them.
Yeah.
So 3 Rancors. We've already mentioned Ulvenwald Trackers. 2 copies of Garrick Relentless. I imagine is good against control.
Everything.
Good. It's just a very all-around card. Another singleton I used to play in my Maverick deck in Legacy. So that's obviously good. Playing 3 copies of Centaur Healer. Is the 4th one in the board?
No. 4th one is on the board.
Okay.
4 was too many.
Yeah, another 3-drop that you can accelerate out on turn 2. Very good against the metagame here. Very good against the metagame period. Life gain is not inconsequential, and you can just win the game. You go turn 1 Mana Guide, turn 2 Centaur Healer, turn 3 Rancor, and you're attacking for 5. So it seems good to me. 1 copy of O-Ring, just catch-all.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, 3 Selesnya Charm. I'm very impressed with Selesnya Charm. We saw that at West Virginia State's. Aaron McLaughlin, who's actually in the building tonight up from Beckley, he top forward with a Bant aggro deck, and he was playing 4 copies of Selesnya Charm. That was my first experience with that card. It is very, very good.
Yes, it is.
So I liked that there. Very versatile. All the charms are very versatile. Selesnya Charm, I think, is actually, in my opinion, the most versatile in this deck. You could use it for all 3. So you're giving the creature, you're buffing the creature in trample. You're making a knight with vigilance, or what's the 3rd mode?
Exile creature 5 or higher.
Okay, so that's clearly the best one in my opinion. Is It Charm's also very good, I understand, but just 2 different archetypes. So 3 of those charms, you're playing 1 copy of a Modern Worm, again a card you probably don't want to draw 2 of.
Yeah.
And it gets tons of value off of your Angel of Restoration, as you previously mentioned, and then 2 copies of Wolfear Silverheart. Yeah, we watched, I don't know if you watched last week's coverage, Wolfear Silverheart did massive work last week. 2 or 3 different decks just slamming it down and just going nuts. It's basically 12 power of dudes and 4 of it has haste.
Yes.
People forgot about that card because in a metagame that still had Titans, like it wasn't nearly as good. Plus, it's not even the best 5-drop in its own color because Thragtusk is better, so it kind of goes by the wayside there.
You missed the best game.
Well, hold on a second. We're almost done here, but so Wolfear Silverheart, that rounds it out, and then you've got 23 lands, just 23 lands because you're playing the mana guys, and then running 1 Gavany Township.
1 Gavany Township.
Yeah,
Yes.
gives you some. Give you some reach there.
On the mana base here, I am 1 Gavany Township. I am 2 Cavern of Souls.
Yes, I think it's funny that we're talking to you. We're just like you're just like a headless horseman there. But
I have a question for him.
do you have a question for Joe?
I do have a question. Why not Silverblade Paladins?
Why not Silverblade? Well, again, I am a true mid-range deck. I feel Silverblade Platinum belongs in a more aggro-ish deck. That's why I have Wolfear Silverheart, because it allows me to change modes from that mid-range life gain to Silverheart smash in the face.
Have you ever bonded a Silverheart and a Silverblade Paladin?
Yes.
Yeah, that happened last week. That's
I'm just curious.
That's what the kids would refer to as living the dream. So if you wanna play some real man's magic, bond a Silverblade Paladin with a Wolfear Silverheart. But again, you know, there's a lot of good. We talked about it with the Loxodon Smiter. There's a lot of different choices you can make at the 3-drop slot. All of them are good. Smiter, Centaur Healer, or Silverblade Paladin. I don't think you're gonna be upset with any of them. So let's.
This color set right now, green and white.
It's very deep.
It is very deep. You can play basically any type of version of this that you want to right now.
Yeah, you can smash it. Matt Elliott's telling you to sit down. Grab that chair. Is there a chair out there? There should be one in the hall. All right, Matt. Former shop legend, limited ringer, and current practicing medical professional. Yes.
I played him the first month and a half I came here. For 6 straight weeks, played him every week. Lost him every week.
Yeah, it's not just you.
And I guess I'd sit down and they'd call the name, he'd sit down and be like, well, I'll lose.
Oh, here's a very interesting story that no one will probably care about, but I'm going to go ahead and tell. I'm going to brag on him a little bit. So 2 years ago, I went to Origins, and I went to trade exclusively. Spent 2 days trading and building up my legacy collection that I now have. And Matt went just to draft and play sealed as much as possible. He played in like 8 drafts, mini master, whatever. I think he only lost 1. He played in a sealed. It was Scars. No, it was full Scars block sealed at that point. New Phyrexia was out. Played in a sealed Grand Prix trial, and he made it all the way to the finals, where he scooped at that point because he didn't want the bias. He wanted the better prize. And the person he scooped to, Laura Nolan, who got second in the Legacy Star City Games 2 weeks ago, playing Esper Control, lost to High Tide. So if you saw that guy playing the Esper Control deck 2 weeks ago in Indianapolis, Matt is just as good as that guy, is what I'm trying to say there.
He's also the first person to bring John on the scene.
Yeah, Matt's a good Magic player. Hopefully he'll be back in town at some point to visit family and whatnot, so we can get him on the stream. Do we have a question?
No, this guy from Australia.
Someone asking, can you bond a Silverheart with another Silverheart and they come in as 12/12s? Absolutely you can. That's even more of the dream. It's even better than a double striker is having a 12.
You could add a third one to that. You could bond 3.
If you could, yeah. Now we're just being greedy. Let's talk briefly, Joe, about... Oh, we have new pairings?
Pairings up.
Thank you, Ruth.
You're welcome.
Okay, so it looks like we are moving into round 2. So, Joe, we will talk about your sideboard should you be on camera. And then, other than that, we're going to take a brief break here, go find you another feature match, and be back with round 2 of FNM. So stick around.